Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to continue our journey. I would like to talk about a very famous proverb that we find in the New Testament. The kingdom of heavens belongs to the children. Again, this is a proverb that has been misunderstood, misinterpreted. Some believe that it was put there in order to control people. However, that's not true. When you have any text, okay, anyone has written a book, any text, any religious text, any philosophical text, you cannot take a small part of the work and interpret it on its own. Every interpretation that we make has to be based on the whole of the work. If you like, on the whole of the works of a philosopher, of a religion, whatever it might be. Otherwise, we can fall into misunderstandings. We cannot pick and choose to suit our arguments. If we want to be honest, and if we want to be honest with ourselves, because we're only cheating ourselves from the truth. We need to study something as a whole. If it's a writer, we need to study his works as a whole. If it's a book, we need to study the book as a whole. So within the New Testament, we find, if this was true, why would Christ say, for example, "He who wishes may follow me"? Now, what does this mean? It means that we all have free will. Now, why, if the purpose of that saying, the first saying, was to control people, make them the lambs of God, why would in another part of the New Testament, why would it be promoting free will? So obviously, there is a misinterpretation, a misunderstanding. Something else I wanted to say. When we interpret something, when we pass judgment, whether it's a book, a person, a work of art, anything, remember, this criticism, this judgment is always two-way. It's not only one way. We're not just talking about that person or that item. That is actually a reflection of who we are within. And so the idea is, let's say for a work of art, a painting, the idea is that, oh yes, that's beautiful. Why? Now, it may be objectively beautiful, there's something about it. However, the fact that we passed that judgment, what did we base our judgment on? On what we have within. So we should always use that in order to understand something about ourselves and correct our ways. Okay, so a bit of a detour. Let's get back into it. The kingdom of heaven belongs to children. And if you remember last video, I talked about backgammon. It's a game. What do children do? They're playful. Yeah, they play. And in what emotional state are we when we play? We're happy. There's nothing negative inside. We're in a happy state. What else about children? They are innocent. They speak the truth. There's no filters. Okay? And so the kingdom of heavens, now where is this kingdom of heavens? And why heavens? Why plural? It's not a creative, poetic thing. It's actually literal. Heavens. Yes, there's more than one. There's more than one universes. In the Sunday prayer, in English, it begins, "Our God who art in heaven." That translation is incorrect. In the original, it says, "Paterimon, o en tis uranis." Our Father, who art in the heavens. Plural. This tells us something. And you will find a lot of these mistakes in translations. So, the heavens are the universes, the noetical and the emotional universes, the paradises and hells that we will find ourselves when we pass over, according to the quality of our elementals. We've talked about this in previous videos. So the kingdom of heavens now, as above, so below. It's not somewhere just out there. It's also within us. As above, so below. We already exist there now. We're not going to find ourselves somewhere we not already are. And this kingdom of heavens, energetically speaking, is in the center of our heart. Okay? Now, what is that center about? The heart is love. It's also truth. It's also life. It's passion. It's playfulness. It's creation. This is the center of the Christ Logos. And the symbol of this center is the six-pointed star on the symbol of life, not the tree of life. That's different. And I'm not talking about the Star of David here. No. I'm talking about the six-pointed star on the symbol of life. And in the middle, there is the cross. And on some occasions, the five-pointed star, upright, is portrayed within the six-pointed star and the cross in the middle. And the color. Now, this is the center of Archangel Michael. Now, he's the Archangel of fire. His color is red. And all colors associated with red might be rosy pink, and so on. Is it by chance, you think, that the color of love is red and pink? Nothing is by chance. And just so you can see, now all these things, you can find them in a child, correct? And just so you can see that it's not only Christianity We find these truths in every philosophical tradition, in myths, in religions, and so on. And I'll give an example. In ancient Greece, one of my favorite philosophers, Heraclitus, the so-called Dark One, he lived in Ephesus in Asia Minor, about 500-600 years BC. And the citizens of the city-state, they went to him to ask for his advice because the city, it was in turmoil, and they wanted him to give them laws. They knew he was a philosopher, a very wise man, and they wanted him to give laws. Heraclitus said nothing to them. The story goes that he totally ignored them. And he went up at the temple of Artemis and played dice with children. Now, one could say, oh, well, that's great, some philosopher. However, what did Heraclitus do? He gave them the answer in his actions, which were what? You do not need human laws. You already have the divine laws. And all you need to do is be like children. He played with the children outside of the temple. Do you understand? Be like children in the heart. It doesn't mean let people take advantage of you. Be in that state of playfulness, of openness, of happiness, of truth, of love, of innocence. Open up your heart to these things. Being love is the foundation of attracting and manifesting what you want. Why are they called the lambs of God? Again, another misunderstanding. The lambs, However, the lamb or the ram is a very important symbol in, let's say, the mystical arts. For example, Hermes Trismegistos, the father of alchemy. Alchemy was considered, it's something of a legend, not even a science, chemistry, magic, all of these things and many more, where the participant, the alchemist, was able to turn lead into gold. So, what is the symbol of Hermes Trismegistos, this god Hermes? He carries a ram on his shoulders. Why do Greek Orthodox Christians put a lamb on the spit to celebrate Easter and the rising of Christ? What are these symbols? What do they mean? Who is Hermes? The god of communication. He was communicating he was the messenger of the gods. The messenger between the humans and the divine. Listen to the symbolism. His statue was put on roads in ancient Greece to show the direction, to point towards the direction where you were going. His statue was put in stadiums and gymnasiums. Now, what do all these things mean? What is alchemy? If he's the god of alchemy, what is alchemy? Alchemy, yes, it means to turn lead into gold, but physical? Or are we talking about something else here? Are we talking about our emotional and thought bodies? Are we talking about our present day personality, our egoism, turning that from lead to gold? Because once you do that, you are a god. So Hermes and alchemy show the way of evolving as a human being, of cleansing our personality, cleansing our negative elementals, emotional and thought, and replacing them with positive new ones, of raising our vibration and frequency to higher levels. This is why it's important to be in a state of love. Again, don't misunderstand this thing. You're not allowing others to take advantage of you. This is not about others, this is about the state you are in. Okay? Then you attract. Because love doesn't want anything. When you want something, when you desire something, you're pushing it away for as long as you have that feeling. How do you attract it? By not wanting it, by not desiring it, which means what? Being in a state of love, because love wants nothing. It is love. Now, and of course, when you reach that point, you've reached the kingdom of heavens. You are a god. We are a god now, but we are sleeping gods. Yeah? Through this process, we become awakened gods. And it all starts from the center of the heart. The kingdom of heavens is here. Okay? Cleanse your heart. Be like a child. That is the first step. And remember, this is the domain of the Christ Logos as love and of Archangel Michael, the Archangel of love and of fire. And here's another little small detail for you. Is it by chance that Michael is the archangel that defeats Satan? Now, watch again. Love. Archangel Michael is love. It is love that defeats it. It is love that cleanses like fire. Now bring all these things together. Do you understand the wisdom? Of course, we have to practice these things. Okay? So, daily. This is the work. The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho's book, The Alchemist. See how, who is the alchemist? The one who follows his path. And then he draws things because he's true, he's real to himself, to his purpose. There's another character in the book who wants to be an alchemist and he's reading books. It's not the way. It says in the book that's not the way. He says that towards the end somewhere, this character starts watching around him and nature and all that. And then they say, well, he's on a good path. Now he's on the right path. So we don't become alchemists by reading and studying, become alchemists by practicing it in our everyday lives, by being alchemists in our everyday lives around the clock. It is a way of life. And again, I'm going to say it again, it starts with the heart and the heart center. In the next video, we're going to move to the center of the solar plexus, another very, very important center. And see how I said earlier on, how the symbol of the heart is the six-pointed star, and sometimes we find within it upright the five-pointed star and the cross. In the next video, when we talk about the solar plexus, we will analyze and understand a little bit more why this is so. What does this mean? And we will bring it sort of together. Thank you once again. If you have any questions, by all means, write them in the comments. I'm bound to read them at some point. For those who have commented, thank you very much for your kind words. Keep it simple. Okay. And I'm wishing you a great week. Have a good one, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.